When you're ready to add texture to your project, what I would suggest starting off with is your scrap clay and rolling it out using a paper, the rolling pin, and of course your scrap piece of clay. Don't worry about wedging because you're not going to keep this. I'm just going to pound that down, roll it out, and I'm going to practice adding texture to my project. So, a couple of the ways that you can add texture to your project are, of course, using our texture plates that we have. You can use found objects. The caps of markers make really neat circles. Foil has a different texture. Last year, remember how we made stamps? I have buckets of them that people didn't pick up. If you find your stamp, you can take it home if you'd like, or you can use it in this project. Wire is also a really neat idea that you could use. So, on your practice piece, start thinking, okay, what am I going to do? Maybe my design has some lines in it, maybe overlapping circles or something, and I can just take my wire, create the shape I wanted, even going over my design and kind of figuring out, now I don't have this design on here, figuring out how I want my wire to look, then taking the wire and pressing it into my clay. That will give you a nice shape. You can roll it in a little bit and then lift it out. You'll get the design from the wire, which also creates a texture. You can use the stamps from last year, of course, to put those in, rock them back and forth to get your stamp design. So maybe something like that. Now that's a little bit deep, so try not to go too deep because you can put a hole in your project or make it break. So I'm just playing with some of the designs from last year. Now if you're doing that, maybe you're going to make a pattern or something like that for your texture. So I'm putting in some stamps. The marker lids are kind of neat. Press them like this. Then maybe I open this one. Ask me for old lids if you do this, because these do tend to leave a mess. Yeah, so something like that. Foil, if you want to ball it up, gives you a neat kind of texture. And the foil you can throw away, so you don't have to worry about cleaning that. Or you can use your texture plates. So if I want to use a texture plate, what I'm going to do is simply lay it down over my clay, and then you can actually, and one trick you can do, if you don't have to worry about an add-on item, would be to turn everything over. With an add-on item, I would actually take the texture right up to the edge of your project, project meaning if I was trying to do the bricks, right up to the edge of the paintbrush and press it in. Then simply remove, and I've got my nice wood texture here. When you're done working this way and playing, kind of figuring out what you're going to do, of course, then you can switch to your project. Here's my project. I know I'm going to use the wood texture on the paintbrush and leave the leg area right here smooth, and I'm going to have the brick area on the rest of the A. So I'm going to start off with the bricks. I want my bricks to be very straight, and my paintbrush is not, so I'm just going to do my best. Lay them over top and press in. Now if your clay is really wet, you don't have to press very hard, you'll get your texture. If your clay is not as wet, obviously you're going to have to press a little bit harder. On this side, I'm going to make this entire thing the bricks right now. And if I need to get it to a different place, I'm just going to flip the thing. I'm going to line this up as best I can, and I'm pressing in here, but I'm not going to press in down here because that's going to be my paint. So something like this. Now up here I didn't have all my bricks, so I might want to take something, kind of, even just outline, trace what the bricks might look like. Kind of sketch them out a little bit. On this area where I accidentally got brick texture, I'm going to just take a rib tool, smooth it out, and that's where my paint's going to go. And I'll probably do more of an edge here, kind of differentiating the brick and the paint. So continue putting my bricks at the top. Now I do want this to be straight, so I am going to do something like this. doing it on this side. I want them to line up, so I'm doing it on both sides. Carefully lifting it up. My brick texture. Now I'm just going to take and flip this a few bricks down here. And there we go. Now right here I missed. So I'm going to add kind of a brick line. Doesn't look exactly like it, but once we add paint, you're not going to see the difference. And the paint would be after this is fired. Something like that. After I've got that done, and I realize I didn't press quite hard enough right here. I'm losing my bricks. So I'm going to go over them. There you go. After that, I'm going to work on adding the texture to my paintbrush with the wood side of my texture plate. Now, I like how that had that knot in the middle, so I really have to figure out, okay, look for where the knots are in the wood. I'm going to try and do this one, lining it up. Line it up here, there in the middle, and I am really guessing for where my paintbrush is. Kind of pressing. I'm not going to worry too much about the other side of it. Take it off. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, that worked out. Now, if it's not deep enough, remember you can always trace the lines. So I can do something like that to really see it, which also creates that texture. This part I want to smooth out. That's going to be metal, which a neat technique you could do is rack this with foil. Works very nicely. This is going to be brush hairs, which maybe afterwards I could take and glue some yarn on or something. Yarn's also a neat way you could take a piece of yarn and press it into different things. Now, I'm probably not going to do that with this, but you might want to do it with yours. Okay, well, thank you.